We are going to take a trip together to a not so far away place that many of you have probably never been before, but it's magical and mysterious. People here say things like, "Oh yeah, you betcha," and "don't you know." This place is not visited frequently and often misunderstood. This place I speak of is North Dakota, and many of you probably have never been here, but maybe that's just because you don't know all the cool things there are to see. As a frequent visitor of North Dakota, I have not only seen all the coolest attractions, but also had to pose next to them, thanks to my dad. So today I will take you on a road trip through the state, stopping at the coolest attractions, including the Open Range, Salem Sioux, Wally the Walleye, and lastly, something in a deserted town that attracts people from all over. Hopefully by the end of this, I will have debunked the myth that there is nothing to see in North Dakota. We will begin our road trip in the southwest corner of the state near a town called Amadon. Amadon has a population of 22 according to citydata.com, a website with profiles of every U.S. town. But the small population is made up by all the people who come to see the attraction, the Open Range. Now, there is no information on the Open Range, in particular who made it, why they made it, or when it was created. It just appeared one day out of the blue and has been there ever since. As you can see, the Open Range is simply an oven with its door detached in the middle of nowhere. But don't be fooled, to get a snapshot of this, you usually have to wait in line. In an interview with Patrick Osborn, the photographer of this photo, he said, "I don't mind at all waiting in line. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. This picture is priceless." Hopping back into the car, we will continue our road trip, driving 122 miles north to New Salem, home of Salem Sioux. Again, New Salem is a very small town but has a very large attraction, Salem Sioux, the world's largest Holstein cow. According to Roadside America, a self-proclaimed guide to all things weird in America, Salem Sioux was built in 1974 by the New Salem Lions Club. Salem Sioux represents the dairy industry in North Dakota and is a tribute to the dairy farmers. Sioux can be seen from miles away as she is 38 feet tall and 50 feet long. In fact, some of you may have seen her on our drive-in. Our road trip is now halfway complete. We've seen a couple very cool attractions, the Open Range and Salem Sioux. We will continue 107 miles north to Garrison, where Wally the Walleye defends his title. Wally the Walleye may seem like a statue of fish to the average Joe, but Wally is a soldier in the battle to be named Walleye Capital of the World. There are 10 U.S. towns and the Netherlands who all claim to be the walleye capital. Here's a picture of Wally, clearly the winner. In an interview with Bob Rupp, a Garrison resident and avid fisherman, he said, "It's just ridiculous that any other town would think they have more walleye than we do. We catch more walleye in a week than they could catch in a month. We're clearly the winners, and this debate could have been over years ago if those damn Minnesotans would just give it up." As we depart Garrison and the likes of Bob and Wally, we will continue 62 miles south to our final and most fascinating destination yet. We have now arrived in the town of Baldwin. Although the term town is used loosely here, as there are no residents and only 3 buildings with boarded windows. There is, however, a cemetery, and something in that cemetery that attracts people from every corner of the state. In an interview with Mary Johnson, a North Dakota resident who brings flowers to the cemetery, she said, "I come here once a month, and every time I'm here, there's usually a crowd of 7 or 8 people looking at it. I will stand aside and watch their reactions. No one leaves without smiling, laughing, or commenting that they want one of their own. Many have told me they've driven hours just to see it." To understand this attraction, some background information is needed. There once was a kind gentleman who loved his family more than anything, but he hated the government. He hated the government telling him what to do, how to do it, when to do it, why to do it. So generally, he would do the opposite. For example, this man adamantly wore his seatbelt until the government made it a law that you had to wear your seatbelt, in which case he stopped wearing it completely. This man was my grandfather, and he died in 2004. And although he loved us very much, we didn't quite make the cut. He couldn't leave this world without letting everyone know that he did not like the government. Here's a replication of my grandfather's headstone. As you can see, he didn't put loving grandfather, brother, he put to hell with socialism. Our road trip has now come to a conclusion. We've seen some awesome attractions. We started in Amadon with the open range, continued north to New Salem, home of Salem Sioux, then to Garrison, where Wally the Walleye is defending his title, and ended in Baldwin, where a simple headstone attracts many. So the next time you and your friends are planning a trip, don't totally count out North Dakota. There are a ton of super cool things to see, and Lord knows the state could use more tourists. Hopefully that'll work for you. I was more nervous that time.